I'm Charlotte Miller, graduated college with a computer programming degree, and while my classmates were losing their minds over job hunts, I had mine locked down by year 3. Apex Software, a mid-sized tech firm, liked what I did during a summer internship, enough to offer me a full-time gig before I even had my diploma in hand. The paycheck was solid, way better than I expected at 23. I could have moved out, gotten my own place, maybe a little one-bedroom with a decent coffee shop nearby. Dreamed about it for years, honestly. But that didn't pan out. Charlotte, we were hoping you'd stick around a bit longer, Mom said one night, sitting across from me at the dining table. Diane Miller, 58, gray, creeping into her hair, worry lines deeper than they used to be. Dad, Tom, 59, nodded beside her, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. His hands fidgeted with a napkin, folding it into smaller and smaller squares. "What do you mean?" I asked, confused. "I thought you'd be thrilled to have the house to yourselves." They'd been talking about downsizing for ages, maybe getting a condo somewhere warm. Guess that was off the table. Dad cleared his throat, eyes on the napkin. "Well, sweetheart, truth is, we're struggling with the bills lately. We're not getting younger, and expenses keep climbing." Mom jumped in, quick as ever. "If you stayed, maybe helped out a little, it'd mean a lot." Their faces, worn, hopeful, hit me hard. These were the people who'd scraped by to get me through college, who cheered at my graduation even though they didn't get half of what I studied. I couldn't say no. Not then. "How much would help?" I asked, voice steady despite the pit in my stomach. "Maybe $1,000 a month?" Dad suggested, tentative, like he was testing the waters. "For bills, groceries, that sort of thing." Relief washed over them the second I nodded. Just like that, at 23, I was the breadwinner, or at least the crutch keeping the house afloat. Kept the rest of my salary in savings, watched it grow each month while I stuck to basics, cheap clothes, gas, the occasional takeout coffee. No point wasting cash on stuff I didn't need. But it didn't take long to see I wasn't the only one with opinions on money. My sister, Emily, had a whole different playbook, and she was about to make sure I knew it. Funny thing is, I thought staying home was the hard part. Turns out that was just the warm-up. I stashed most of my salary in savings, watched it pile up, slow and steady. Didn't spend much, plain t-shirts, jeans that lasted, a phone that still worked. Why blow money when I didn't need to? Emily Harris, my sister, saw it differently. At 31, 8 years older, she spent like money was oxygen, and she was gasping for air. Married to Ryan Harris, 32, college sweethearts with a kid, Noah, who's 8. They lived across town in a pricey rented condo, all glass and high ceilings, acting like they were rolling in it. Except they weren't. Ryan had a decent job, some sales gig pulling 6 figures, but their cash vanished faster than it came. Vacations, dinners out, designer bags. Emily's Instagram was a highlight reel of stuff they couldn't afford. "Oh my God, Charlotte, are you seriously wearing that again?" she said one Sunday, sprawled on Mom and Dad's couch scrolling her phone. Her nails were fresh, bright red, probably cost more than my grocery bill. I glanced down at my gray t-shirt, same one I'd worn for years. "What's wrong with it?" I asked, keeping my tone flat. She rolled her eyes, dramatic as ever. "I saw it in your profile pic. From, like, forever ago. Nordstrom's got a sale on. Don't you ever treat yourself?" I shrugged. "These work fine." She snorted, loud enough to turn heads. "This is why you're single. No guy's into a girl who looks like she shops at a thrift store." I bit my tongue. Could have pointed out her and Ryan's bank account was a ghost town despite his paycheck. But why bother? She wouldn't hear it. Later that day, she cornered me in the kitchen while I scrubbed plates. "Hey, Charlotte," she said, voice switching to sugar sweet. "Can I borrow $200? There's this handbag I've been dying for, and I'm a little short." Her eyes sparkled like she'd already won. I sighed, dried my hands on a towel. Sure. Not the first time, wouldn't be the last. You're a lifesaver, she chirped, hugging me quick before texting someone, probably bragging about the bag. I'm your only sister, I muttered. But she was already gone, leaving me with the suds and a lighter wallet. When I wasn't at Apex Software, I spent nights in my room, hunched over my laptop, coding a home security app. Something simple but smart, tied into existing cameras, with alerts that actually made sense, controls anyone could use. The market was full of clunky junk. I knew I could do better. Charlotte, it's almost midnight, Mom complained one night, standing in my doorway, robe cinched tight. You're running up the electric bill. Sorry, just wrapping up, I said, eyes on the screen. Didn't look up, too close to cracking a glitch in the motion detection code. All she does is play those dumb games, I heard Dad grumble, as they shuffled back to bed. No wonder she's still alone. I didn't correct them. They wouldn't get it, wouldn't care that I was building something real. Easier to let them think what they wanted. Emily popped by most Sundays, Noah in tow, Ryan trailing behind. She'd flop on the couch, critique my life, while Noah ran circles around Mom and Dad. You should come shopping with me, she said once, flipping through a magazine. Get out of this house. Live a little. I'm good, I replied, stacking dishes. She laughed, sharp. Yeah, real exciting life you've got? I kept quiet, watched her flip pages, her rings glinting under the light. She didn't know my savings were creeping up, that I wasn't just sitting still. Didn't know I was waiting. For what, I wasn't sure yet. But every late night on that app, every dollar I didn't lend her, felt like a step toward something. Maybe freedom, maybe just sanity. Problem was, sanity's hard to keep when your family's involved. Emily and Ryan were a ticking clock, spending their way into trouble I could smell from a mile off. Mom and Dad, too, they leaned on me more each month. Like that $1,000 was their lifeline. I didn't mind helping, not at first. They'd raised me, put me through school. But the weight of it, the way it never let up, started to press down. And then, one Tuesday evening, the clock ran out, and everything I'd been holding steady flipped upside down. That Tuesday evening, I pulled into the driveway after work, and it was like a parking lot had exploded. Cars everywhere, the front door propped open with a cardboard box, spilling out packing tape and bubble wrap. I stepped inside, bag still slung over my shoulder, and froze. The living room was a war zone. Stacked boxes, suitcases, a random lamp tipped on its side. Emily stood in the middle, barking orders at Mom and Dad like they were her personal moving crew. What's going on? I asked, voice steady, despite the chaos screaming around me. Are you moving in? Before Emily could answer, Ryan shuffled out from the hallway, shoulders slumped, his usual crisp button-down wrinkled like he'd slept in it. I'd never seen him look so small. Ryan lost his job, Emily announced, hands on her hips like it was breaking news I should have seen coming. Can you believe how unfair they were? His own friend turned on him. I glanced at Ryan, who wouldn't meet my eyes. What happened? I asked, keeping it simple. He mumbled something about creative accounting, but Emily cut in, defensive. He was borrowing company money, okay? He was going to pay it back. But the director, his so-called buddy, found out in an audit and flipped out. I raised an eyebrow. You mean he was stealing? The room went dead quiet. Mom fidgeted with a dish towel. Dad stared at the floor, and Emily's face turned red. That's a harsh way to put it, Charlotte, she snapped. His friend asked for it back and told him to resign. Fair, right? Real friends don't do that when you're in a pinch. I dropped it. Logic wasn't welcome here, clearly. By dinner it was official. Emily, Ryan, and Noah were staying. Just until they got back on their feet, Mom said, her voice soft, like she was trying to convince herself too. I nodded, already bracing for the mess I knew was coming. It didn't take long. Ryan landed a new job in 2 weeks, some entry-level gig paying half his old salary, and he griped about it nonstop. "This is humiliating," he'd mutter, loud enough for everyone to hear. Emily kept her part-time gig at a boutique, working just enough to claim she was pitching in, though her paycheck barely covered her lattes. Meanwhile, the house turned into their playground. Noah's toys littered every corner, Emily's complaints filled the air, and my quiet life crumbled under the noise. One night at dinner, Emily pushed her plate away, nose wrinkled. "This chicken's so dry, Mom. Don't you know how to season anything? We used to eat at Tavola every Thursday. Real food." Mom nodded, apologetic. "I'll try harder next time, dear." I stabbed my perfectly fine chicken, kept my mouth shut. The dynamic had shifted hard. Emily was the sun now, everyone orbiting her whining. Her problems were ours, her demands urgent. Me? I was just the ATM in the corner, humming along, paying the bills. That $1,000 a month wasn't cutting it anymore, apparently. "Charlotte," Dad said one evening, clearing his throat as we all sat in the living room. "Things are tight with 5 adults and Noah. Utilities are through the roof. Groceries. You wouldn't believe what a growing boy eats." Mom chimed in, nervous. "We were hoping you could help a little more. The $1,000 just isn't enough now." I looked around. Mom and Dad, embarrassed but hopeful. Emily, picking at her nails, pretending this wasn't her idea. Ryan, at least, had the guts to look uneasy. "Are Emily and Ryan chipping in?" I asked, calm as I could manage. Mom hesitated. "They're in a tough spot right now," she said softly. "You're single, no kids, you can afford it." I counted to 10 in my head. "How much more?" I asked. "Maybe $2,000 a month," Dad said, testing me again. Emily's lips twitched, a tiny smug smile. I nodded, said nothing. They thought they'd won. They had no idea what was coming. Then came the real kick. I got home from work a few days later, and my stuff, books, laptop, that old stuffed rabbit, was piled in the hallway like garbage. My room wasn't mine anymore. Noah sat on my bed, now covered in dinosaur sheets, playing a handheld game. My desk? Gone, replaced by a kiddie table with crayons and action figures. "Aunt Charlotte, look at my new room," he grinned. Emily appeared in the doorway, casual as ever. "Oh, you're back. We moved Noah in here. He needs space for his stuff. You can take the couch." I stared at her, then Mom, who wrung her hands. "You moved me out without asking?" I said, voice low. "Ethan needed it," Emily shrugged. And I got his old room for my clothes, barely fit in ours." Something snapped, but I held it in, quiet as always. Those late nights on my app weren't for nothing. I'd finished it. Smart alerts, clean interface, better than anything out there. Showed it to my boss, Mark, one afternoon in his office. His eyes lit up as I demoed it, walking him through how it flagged humans over squirrels, sent custom notifications, all with a tap. "Charlotte, this is incredible," he said, leaning back in his chair. "You built this yourself?" I nodded, kept the pride off my face. "Been tinkering with it for months." He studied me, like he was seeing me for the first time. "This could shake up home security. We'd own the market. I'll offer you $500,000 for full ownership, plus a cut of sales. Deal?" My heart slammed against my ribs. $500,000, plus royalties. More than I'd ever pictured. "Sounds fair," I said, cool as if I haggled 6-figure deals daily. We shook hands, and I walked out, head spinning, already planning. I didn't tell anyone. Not Mom, not Dad, definitely not Emily. If they knew, that money would vanish into Emily's shopping bags, or Mom's endless excuses for her. This was my shot, and I wasn't letting it slip. That night, I called Lauren, a realtor friend from work, from my car in the driveway, voice low. "I need a place of my own, close to Apex, ready to move in fast. Can you help?" "Absolutely," she said. "I've got a few spots in mind. Let's meet tomorrow after work." I hung up, slipped inside, acted like nothing was up. Next day, Lauren showed me a one-bedroom on the top floor of a sleek complex 10 minutes from the office. Bright, modern, a small balcony with a view. Perfect. I bought it outright with part of the $500,000, signed the papers that afternoon. Mine, no one else's. Back home, things were brewing. Mom, Dad, and Emily kept trading weird looks at dinner, like they were in on something. Ryan stayed quiet, cutting Noah's meat, avoiding the tension. I ignored it, focused on my next steps: furniture, movers, freedom. Then, 2 days later, I walked in from work, and there it was, my stuff dumped in the hallway, a bigger pile now, like they'd raided the house for anything with my name on it. I stormed to my room, or what used to be mine. Noah grinned from my old bed. "Aunt Charlotte, isn't my new room cool?" Emily leaned in the doorway, smug. "We moved him in. He needs the space. You're on the couch." Mom hovered behind her, nervous. "We figured you're barely here, always working or on that computer," she said. "And Emily's using Noah's old room for her clothes. Hers and Ryan's is too cramped." I stared at them, rage bubbling under my skin. My room, the one I'd had since I was a kid, the one I was paying $2,000 a month to keep this house running, gone. For Noah's toys and Emily's wardrobe. "You didn't even ask," I said, voice deadly calm. Emily shrugged. "We knew you'd freak out. It's done." Mom twisted her hands. "We can figure something out if you're upset." I looked at Emily's designer jacket, the pile of my life in the hall, and something broke loose. But instead of yelling, I shrugged back. "You know what? Fine. I won't need the couch. I'll sleep in my own apartment." Emily laughed, sharp. "Right. Your imaginary apartment. Give it up, Charlotte." "I bought it last week," I said, turning away. "Was gonna tell you this weekend, but you made it easy." They gaped at me, stunned. "You bought an apartment?" Mom asked, voice faint. "With what money?" "Doesn't matter," I said, heading downstairs. "What matters is I'm out today." I grabbed my phone, called a moving company, 7 a.m. slot, tomorrow morning. Then I rang Mark, took the day off. My family hovered, watching like I'd lost it. "Charlotte, you can't be serious," Dad said, stepping in from the garage. "I'm dead serious," I replied, ending the mover call. "They're here at 7. Everything's packed." Mom's eyes welled up. "If it's the room, we can fix it. Noah can share with us." "It's not the room," I cut in, sharp now. "It's respect, boundaries, and me paying $2,000 a month to be treated like I don't count." Emily piped up, quieter than usual. "Wait, you actually bought a place? How? You're just a junior coder." I didn't answer, just started boxing what was left in the hall. Next morning, 7 a.m. sharp, the movers rolled up. I pointed them to the pile, watched them haul it out, box after box, my old life disappearing. Mom cried, Dad paced, Emily glared. "Where's this place?" Dad asked finally. "Near work," I said, vague. "How much?" Emily demanded. "How'd you pay for it?" I turned, faced them all. Mom hurt, Emily pissed, Ryan awkward. "That's not your business," I said. "We're family," Mom pleaded. "It should be." "Family goes both ways," I shot back, "and it's only gone one way here for too long." Emily crossed her arms. "So you're abandoning us?" I grabbed my purse, nodded to the mover. "I'm done being the ATM, that's all." He signaled. Everything was loaded. "Ready?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, walking out, a weight lifting with every step. The movers dropped the last box in my new apartment, and I shut the door behind them, locking it with a click that felt final. 10 minutes from Apex Software, top floor, sunlight spilling through big windows onto hardwood I owned outright. No more cramped hallway piles, no more Emily's voice echoing through the house. I spent the next few days unpacking, arranging furniture deliveries, a simple couch, a bed with clean lines, a desk for my laptop. Kept my phone off most of the time, dodging the flood of calls and texts I knew were piling up from Mom, Emily, probably even Dad. Freedom hit different, good different, like I could breathe without someone leaning on me. Work kept me busy, but the royalties from the app started trickling in, steady and real. Mark was right. It was taking off, Apex pushing it hard in the market. I'd check my bank account sometimes just to see the numbers climb, proof I'd done something big. Didn't go wild with it, though. Bought some clothes, nice jeans, a couple sweaters, nothing Emily would have touched with her Nordstrom obsession. Treated myself to a weekend trip up the coast, drove with the windows down, no one asking for gas money or a favor. Even started seeing a guy, Jake, from the office next to Apex. Quiet type, liked hiking, didn't care that I wasn't flashy. "You're easy to be around," he said once over coffee. I smiled, didn't overthink it. Felt good to be me, not a wallet. Nights were the best, though. I'd sit on my balcony, tiny but mine, with a view of the city lights blinking below. No Noah running laps, no Mom nagging about the electric bill, no Emily whining about dry chicken. Just quiet, and a laptop if I felt like tinkering with code. I'd been so used to noise, to giving, that the silence took some getting used to. But every day, it settled deeper. This was mine, earned, not owed to anyone. I'd catch myself wondering how they were doing back at the house, if the bills were piling up, if Emily had sold another sob story. Then, I'd shake it off. Not my problem anymore. A week in, I turned my phone back on, just to clear the clutter. Dozens of messages, Mom's guilt trips, "We're so worried," Emily's anger. "You can't just vanish." A few stiff apologies from Dad. I skimmed, deleted most, didn't reply. They'd figure it out. Or they wouldn't. I wasn't their fix anymore. Lauren stopped by with a housewarming plant, a little cactus I couldn't kill. "You look lighter," she said, grinning. "I feel it," I replied, setting the pot on the counter. She didn't ask about the family, didn't need to. Work bumped me up to a new project, something with AI, and I dove in, head clear for the first time in years. Life was moving, and I was moving with it, not dragging anyone along. The messages kept coming, even after I ignored them. Moms turned pleading, "Please call, we miss you," while Emily swung between rage and fake sweetness. "You're so selfish." Then, "Hey sis, let's talk." Dads were short, awkward. "Hope you're okay." Through a mutual friend, I heard they were still crammed in the house, still broke, now griping about my abandonment. Ryan's paycheck barely dented their mess. Emily's boutique hours didn't help, and Mom and Dad were too soft to push them. I let it sit for 6 months, kept my distance, built my life, work, Jake, trips, royalties stacking up. But the guilt gnawed sometimes, quiet and stubborn, so I decided to visit, see if we could talk sense without cash changing hands. That Saturday morning, I pulled into the driveway, saw the curtains twitch. They'd been watching. Mom flung the door open before I reached it, pulled me into a hug that smelled like her old lavender soap. "Thank goodness you're back," she said, voice thick. "We've been so worried." Dad loomed behind her, half smiling, half uncomfortable. Emily and Ryan sat in the living room, Noah on the floor with a puzzle. "I'm not moving back," I said right off, cutting through the hope in Mom's eyes. "Just here to talk." She nodded, tugged me inside. "We've been thinking too," she said, sitting me down. Doubtful, but I listened. Dad started, voice gruff. "We know we messed up, Charlotte. Your cot, your rooms are yours. Again, whenever you want it. Noah's back in his old one." Emily jumped in quick. "And I didn't make a closet out of it. My stuff fits with Ryan's now." Their faces were eager, too eager, and I saw it coming. "We miss you," Mom said, eyes soft. "And we need you here." There it was, the real pitch. "You need my money," I corrected, gentle but firm. No one denied it. Emily leaned forward. We could work it out. You keep your place. Help us with bills. Or we take your apartment. You get the house back. I almost laughed. Her nerve was that wild. No, Emily, I said. Not giving you my place. Not giving you anything. She flushed, mad now. That's not fair. You're so selfish. How'd you even afford it? Hiding cash from us all along? I took a breath, let it out slow. I sold an app I built. The security one you thought was me playing games. Mark paid $500,000, plus royalties. Silence hit like a brick. Ryan blinked. $500,000? He whispered. Mom looked faint, Dad stunned. Why didn't you tell us? Mom asked, hurt creeping in. Because I knew this, I said, honest. You'd find reasons it was yours, not mine. They couldn't argue, just sat there, caught. Emily recovered first, dramatic as ever. So you're abandoning us after all we've done for you? What exactly have you done, Emily? I asked, standing. Borrow money you don't pay back? Trash my clothes? Move me out without asking? She had nothing, just glared. I'll always be your daughter, your sister, I said, looking at them. Mom teary, Dad quiet, Emily fuming, Ryan useless. But I'm not your bank anymore. I walked out, their voices trailing, ungrateful, heartless, selfish. Didn't sting this time, just faded as I drove away. 6 months since then, and I haven't gone back. They call, text, always with a money ask wrapped in family talk. Friends say they're still together, still complaining. Bills, Ryan's job, me. I'm thriving, though. Work's pushing me up, royalties keep coming. Jake and I hike most weekends. Bought a jacket last week. Warm, practical, nothing Emily'd wear. Sometimes I wonder if I did right, cutting them off cold. Then I remember the $2,000, my room gone, their hands always out, never grateful. They didn't see me, just what I could give. Walking away wasn't selfish, wasn't spite. It was survival, pure and simple. Now I sit on my balcony, city humming below, coffee in hand. No guilt, no noise, just me, Charlotte Miller, 23, figuring it out. Work's good, life's mine, and that's enough. They'll keep calling. I'll keep living. Maybe one day they'll get it, but I'm not holding my breath. For the first time, I'm not carrying them, and it feels damn good.